What's up, Nedheads? Welcome back to another episode of the Ned's Declassified podcast. As always, I'm Jacob.
Yo, what up? This is Kirk. Thanks, Jake. How you been? You went to the beach today.
Been good. Yeah, I went to the beach, so apologies if I sound a little bit tired, being out in the sun. What can you do? It was nice, though. It was really nice out.
It does take a lot out of you. It always
does, even though you don't do anything.
Well, yeah, it's just the sun.
Just
I guess it just dehydrates you or something.
Yeah. But yeah, today we watched the episode Cell Phones / Woodshop.
Yeah, episode lucky number 13 of season 3.
Yeah, 13 out of the 21 total on Amazon. So,
yep,
rapidly approaching the end, as we've said before. But you feel it more and more every time.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there quick.
What kind of wine is that you got there?
So this is a Spanish wine. It's a Producto de España. It's a Toro, 2020. It's just a red wine. It's not bad. At first I was like meh about it. It's kind of it's growing on me a little bit. It's not acidic, so it's pretty much, I don't know. It's just kind of pretty easy to drink. It doesn't have too many smoky flavors or anything. It's kind of fruity. It's full. Yeah. It's good. You'd probably like it.
Nice.
There's nothing really horrible about it.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm drinking the Yingling Racing Eagle Mango.
Oh shit.
Brew. It doesn't say. It just says mango. It doesn't say what type it is, honestly.
I mean, a lager.
I assume it's like a mango lager. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really say.
What does it taste like?
I looked for it on the can. Yeah, I guess it's just it's either like a lager or a wheat, I guess.
I didn't know they made other things than they're just a flagship one, but
yeah, they I'd been seeing this at Publix for a while, and I was like, you know what, I'll try it. That'll look a good, fruity beer. It's pretty solid.
Nice. I wonder how many different varieties Yingling does.
I don't really know. I'm not a huge Ying head, even though it is manufactured here in Tampa.
No, it's not. I mean,
they have their big factory here in Tampa.
But it's it's like New England or something.
Yeah, I think it's Pennsylvania or something, right? Isn't that where Ying is from?
Though apparently also west of the some river or something, you can't get it or something. I've heard. It's like it doesn't.
Oh, really? Is that not an old school thing? Like how nobody could get Coors outside of Colorado before refrigeration?
Yeah, the reason for the whole plot of Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie? You got to watch that movie. That's a classic.
I feel like we've mentioned this on this podcast before. This exact same
Anytime we talk about Coors. But yeah, no.
There's Yingling.
Yingling is a good. It's like if you're gonna go somewhere and they have Yingling, it's probably better than PBR. For sure.
Well, I'm never gonna get a PBR. I'm not a PBR.
If you're gonna spend $3 on a beer, Yingling's for sure the one.
Some people love PBR. I'm not one of them.
It's fine. I'm not gonna shit on it, but I'm not gonna defend it either.
I'm not from Detroit, so I'm not just gonna drink it all the time.
And you're not that much of a hipster either.
No, I'm not. No.
But this air date was February 17th, 2007. The record date of this episode, February 24th, 2022. So
yeah, 2022. 2 days shy, or 2 days after the 2/22/22 date. That nothing really happened.
We made it past it.
We did.
Yeah.
Cell
phones.
Yeah. So this episode starts off. Most people have flip phones. Except I guess they are starting to get into the era of some people having Blackberries and shit.
Yeah, Moze's phone that she gets, she calls it a super phone.
She did, yeah. She said it has the web on it, which is pretty sweet.
That wasn't a thing, right? Super phones, because it was smartphones.
No.
It went from cell phones to smartphones.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
1000%.
Some people called them that, and I just don't remember because it didn't catch on, the VCR Betamax debacle, maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, a laser disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I wonder if our parents ever owned a laser disc player.
Yeah, I don't know. My parents have never talked about owning any of that stuff. I don't think they care for old technology.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody that's going through it at the time, you're like, this is the new horse shit.
Yeah.
Like when we were growing up, when Blu-ray came out, I was like, Blu-ray, fuck Blu-ray. I'm a DVD guy.
Well, it was
Till I
Blu-ray
die.
versus HD DVDs. Remember?
Nobody had HD DVD. That was
Remember those though? They came in the red case.
They existed. Yes.
Yeah, they had them at FYE.
That was a fail. That was a marketing fail.
That was a big fail. But I also was fuck Blu-rays because they were like
Yeah.
they were like
50,
$70, like brand new.
$70.
It was
Exactly.
like, what the fuck? And I could get a DVD for fucking $9 right off the other shelf. Like, come on.
Yeah. And now
And my eyes couldn't tell the difference. It's not like my parents had a good TV. We had a pretty average TV, you know.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, she's got her super phone that does her organization and everything. But the thing is, she doesn't know how the thing works. It's too complicated for her.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Well, throughout the episode, Corley has to come and show her how her phone works.
What a fucking dumb idiot. Why did she even buy the phone if she didn't know how to use it? Like,
It's
at least
'cause
at the store, play around with it a little bit.
No, yeah, she wanted to fucking be cool. She wanted to be like, she wanted to show up and be Mrs. Cool.
Yeah, she saw fucking Max Keeble's big move, and she's like, shit, I want to be Orlando Brown.
She's like, imagine if I had a
Is
little...
that Orlando Brown? That is him.
Orlando
right?
Bloom. No, Orlando Brown.
No, it's not Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, you got it right. What does he do though now? What has he been in?
Who, Orlando Brown?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Since I love... Oh, what's the show? Raven? That's So Raven.
That's So Raven?
That's So Raven.
Yeah, I don't know. That would have to be an IMDb rabbit hole.
He was on there.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moze gets the
but yeah,
200-minute plan.
Only 200 minutes. She doesn't mention, although she says her phone can do, I think she says it can do text and web. But she doesn't mention what sort of text plan she has.
I don't know. I know that she says it can do web and organization.
Oh, she doesn't mention text?
She might have, but I didn't write it down.
What kind of super phone doesn't have text?
Is it
Mosley.
Is it 200 minutes per month?
It's got to be. Not a long, you can't make long calls. That's
30 days in a month. What's 200 over 30? I mean, how many minutes per day can you talk to somebody?
Not many. A lot. Only a couple. No, yeah.
You're limited.
You couldn't use it every day.
I guess they got...
It's a shit plan. It's a really dog shit plan.
They just got better at transporting technology over the airwaves, I guess.
I guess, yeah. I'm not 100% sure how it worked, whether it was just like corporate greed or it was like technological difficulties. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my mom would be on phone calls with people. Like, it was on the home phone, but like she'd be on phone calls with people for like hours. It's like, like, what the fuck? Yeah. So like, yeah, this 200 plan, I don't think could really work for some people.
I don't know. Ned has a cell schedule with Suzie, so turns out he's still with Suzie, I guess.
Yeah, they
having a long distance relationship.
They ditched the whole thing from last pair of episodes where he was like, maybe I do like Moze.
Well,
you know?
kind of they ditched it. They kind of bring it back though.
Well, they kind of shoehorn it in though, don't they?
What do you mean?
I mean, we'll get to it when we get to the
but yeah, the Suzie cell phone schedule. He's like, we could talk this amount of time in between classes every day. You know.
Yeah, terrible idea. Come on, you're in middle school. Like we've said before, end it.
First of all, even if you're gonna do the cell phone long distance relation thing, that's psychotic, whatever. But anyway, that's pure quantity over quality. Like, what are you gonna say? Hey, see ya. In between classes,
I'm listen. I'm not a big phone guy. I don't really like making phone calls,
True.
so like I would have nothing to say. I don't like really being. I like talking to people in person much more.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, or even like a video call like this.
Yeah, video calls are fine. I feel like I need to see people. You know, I can't talk to people on the phone. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I do it all day long though. That's why I hate my job. Yeah. Part of the reason. At least.
Fucking rip. Yeah. Gotta get a job without a phone, dude.
Yeah, I gotta do something. But Cookie shows up with a 33 cell phone suit. So he's got an orange, first of all, polo with, stripes and shit, and just a black, thin, weird suit jacket with taped onto it 30 different cell phones with fake screens.
Yeah. Everywhere. Yeah, the two right on the shoulders are the same exact phone with the same exact fake screen.
They're like epaulets.
It's pretty sick, honestly. He's like a cell phone general.
Yeah. But his whole
Gordy's
thing,
voice is the cell phone, or is the radio host guy that Cook is trying to win off of.
yeah. So his whole scheme is that the radios do content. You will call her number, whatever you want, blah blah blah. And then Cookie's like, well,
Yeah.
if I put all my cell phones on speed dial, and then I very quickly call all the cell phones on myself, I'm definitely going to be one of the top callers, and then I'm for sure
Yeah.
going to win this Mustang that's at stake.
Yeah, it's a red convertible Mustang.
It was a
which
pretty
is
sweet
pretty
one.
sick. Yeah, no, it's a good era of Mustangs. The radio is K Blast, by the way.
K Blast.
He's listening to K Blast.
And the voice of the disc jockey, I don't know if you mentioned, it's definitely Darren
Yeah, it's
Norris.
Gordy. Yeah.
Who is Gordy? Yeah.
We find out that no phones are allowed in Sweeney's class. He has
Well, can't we assume all the classes should ban I mean, it's a very reasonable expectation of children not to use cell phones in class, is it not?
Well, I think during this era, yes. I think as we became more and more modern,
people learn to multitask more. I think people understand.
Yeah,
you
I
have
don't
to be
think
able to
that-
use your phone and take notes and things.
I can't imagine that like classrooms are still banning cell phones. They might be, but I think that would be such a hard rule to enforce. Maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know.
Isn't it?
Kids are hard to. I
I
mean,
mean,
they're
it's
hard to
pretty.
manage.
That's like, isn't that like the most bare minimum thing? Like,
Kids don't care.
I guess if you check a
think-
text, if you check, quick text, like
Yeah,
that's
you
fair.
whip your phone out, and your
Yeah,
friend said,
yeah.
your friend was just like, "Hey,
Could be
LOL."
anything.
You wait. Come
Yeah,
on.
you got to. It's like you open it. He just sent you straight up porn. You're like, oh shit, you got to put it away real quick.
That had happened to me at school before. I remember.
Of course.
I think Ked sent it to me.
I think we all. I think that was like a thing for a little while. It didn't last long. It
I
didn't
whipped
happen
out my
much,
phone.
but it
And,
happened.
no, I think it was just like one day.
Yeah.
Whipped out my phone. What the fuck?
That's what made it funny.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck was?
But
I
yeah,
gonna
so Sweeney comes over to Ned, and is like, Mr. Bigby. He's got a full-on chalkboard that says no cell phones in class on it. Mr. Bigby takes
Yeah.
Ned's phone away, snatches it away during his cell phone call. He's on the phone at that point with Suzie, is he not?
Right. I remembered what I was going to mention. So this part where Mr. Sweeney was like wheeling over a chalkboard and saying no phone and then taking it away. It reminded me of one of my teachers in 9th grade. I had this. It was the same teacher, this kid, Dr. Applebaum. He threatened us with like taking our phones away if he caught us in class using them and fucking destroying them on a magnet.
Oh yeah,
He had like a big magnet, and he was like, "I'll fucking take your phone and destroy it." Because the magnet will just wipe the entire thing. You won't be able to use it.
I mean, he had to have been bluffing.
Oh, he was. I never saw him do it to anyone, and there were people that had whipped their phones out in class, but it was an insane threat.
I mean, if someone got him, if he had two of those kind of magnets, I mean, he could crush someone's like skull or hand in between them.
Yeah, or foot,
Anything.
elbow.
Their dick.
He could. It's a mega magnet. What are you gonna do? But yeah, that's just what it reminded me of because they both wore lab coats.
Yeah. But yeah, he cock blocks Ned basically, and then Cookie comes over. He comes up to some random teacher. Who the fuck is that
Yeah,
guy?
what teacher's that?
Who is
that guy's
guy?
constantly in the show, but I don't think he's ever said a word. And I don't know what his name is.
We've never heard his name. He comes over to some teacher.
Dark-haired teacher man.
He sat behind a desk. It looks like he's got his own office.
He looks miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looked like he'd rather be dead.
But Cookie's like,
when
my stomach hurts.
Cookie's like, I'm gonna fucking shit my pants,
I
man.
got a crap, dude.
I gotta lay his shit, dude. And then he fucking lays over.
And he's like, here, have a
gives him-
bathroom pass.
gives
I
him the
guess you
pass.
can have a fucking bathroom pass. You fucking.
He really didn't want to give it.
Yeah, he could tell he was lying.
Yo, I mean, he's
covered
wearing
in
a
cell
suit
phones.
made out of cell phones. I mean, although they probably are just like, man, Cook's such a shithead. They always see him wearing these weird outfits.
Yeah, he's like, this is what
I
is
wonder
this?
what the teachers think.
They just think he's trying to get pussy all the time. They're like, this.
They're like,
fucking
who's this
loser.
zany motherfucker that's always trying to get laid?
But yeah, the radio contest keeps happening. He keeps doing updates. Sweeney keeps stealing people's phones.
Yeah.
He steals Cookie's phones.
We see that Feynman is number 2 speed dial in Moze's new phone.
Because they're kind of setting up as an item pseudo.
They never, for sure.
They never hold hands even, I feel.
No, they never. He doesn't do anything more than saying that he might like her.
I might like you a little bit or something.
When like his parents come and the parents are like, "You have a friend." They're like, "Why did you not bring him over the house for dinner?"
They're like, "Feynman, you have a lady friend." I bet Feynman's gay and he's just pretending to have a lady friend just so that they don't fucking beat the shit out of him. That's probably what's going on.
I honestly believe it.
It's like based on the breadcrumbs that we're given by the show.
Yeah, the show.
There's no other conclusion to draw, really.
But yeah, he's number 2. And he's kind of
disappointed fucked up.
That he's
it's
not
actually,
number 1.
it's there's some if you read that far into it, it's dramatic.
It is dramatic. You gotta look through some shit first.
It's at that point though where he finds out that he's number 2 speed dial. That's when Corley enters. He's like, "Well, you got to do this, and that." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, Corley became number 4. I'm not 100% sure who number 3.
Well, Corley inserts himself into the speed dial rotation. Yes, as number 4.
Yeah, but who's number 3? Ned's number 1. Maybe Cook's 3.
Ned was 1. Is that what she said?
Ned was 1. That's why Feynman was upset, and Feynman was 2.
That's fair.
Because Ned was number 1 in her old phone.
Okay.
That's what she says.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah, it might have been Ned. I'm sorry, it might have been Cook, or it might have been like.
Suzie is the only other person. She's got, her parents. I was going to say she's got no friends.
Yeah, I assume she has parents. At least one.
She's got somebody. She got some sort of guardian angel.
Yeah, true.
Cook, he ends up going to the toilet and making that his base camp.
So
he's got the radio.
So we find out that he gets posted up in the toilet for like 2.5 hours. What the fuck about his perfect attendance record that he's used to give a fuck about? That all goes out the window when the Mustangs.
I totally forgot about that.
That's what I was like. He's been just skipping class for 2.5 hours. This is not Cookie. That's not in the Cookie character.
Listen, Cookie does not give a shit anymore. All right, he's about to go to high school. His mind is so fogged.
He wouldn't even remember this. He's like, I went to class all those days. I had perfect attendance. Of course I did.
Yeah. His mind is so fogged, though, of his pursuit of puss that he cannot, he can't even think.
Because ultimately, why does he want the Mustang? Because the Mustang.
Why does he want the car?
Get him puss. It's only that. He doesn't want to drive. He doesn't think it's a cool car. He could give a fuck about a car. He wants a smart car.
He hates the car. Honestly, he thinks more about utility. He wants trunk space.
He wants trunk space, or I think he could cruise around in like a smart car, like a Leaf.
I don't know. No shot.
You don't think he's about fuel efficiency?
I think he'd be a Tesla guy, probably.
Well, yeah, but Tesla doesn't exist back then.
Well, yeah. Well, Priuses were around back then.
Yeah, so he's just a straight up basic Prius guy. All right. Prius is alright.
He would be, honestly. I could see him in an Expedition, going the opposite way. I think I could see him in some sort of big ass SUV. He's in one of the.
He's like Arnold.
He's in one of the original Humvees.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking military grade. That'd be sick. Gotta get one of those.
All these phones in this episode have incredible picture quality. So
yeah, unbelievable picture quality.
We kind of get little shots of the phone. It'll be weird. It's weird because the phone will be closed, and it'll show a screen. Was that ever a thing where you see the screen on the top of the closed phone?
There would be a little. Some of the phones had a tiny little screen.
Not a big face though, that you could perfectly see every detail of the person's face.
No, with 1,000 pixels, there was 1,000,000 pixels. No shot. Yeah. As a person that as people that lived through this era,
right? NV3, NV2.
The phones were dog.
Whatever the flip one was.
Yeah, the cameras were so shit. They were the worst things. Until smartphones came around, the cameras were almost unusable.
And texting was expensive.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Sweeney's whole...
I can't 100% say from experience because I was a child, so my parents paid for it.
No, but that's... you just kind of were aware of the fact that it was. Sweeney's cell phones should only be for emergencies.
Well, he's a boomer.
He might be in between boomer and the great generation.
I think he was the greatest generation. He fucking fought in World War II.
He's like 80 something years old in this episode. He looks good for 86.
Fucking Sweeney with his goddamn acne scars. What a fucking son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like phones. What sort of fucking... He's a scientist. Like, he's supposed to be like all about science. This is the future.
Well,
phones are the future.
I think it's because in the classroom, he wants the classroom to be a pure place where the students...
Got a fucking phone right here. Like, this fucking dude, you kidding me? He should be so blown away by the science and shit you can do on your phone. The technology, man.
Yeah, it's better than a computer that used to take up a whole entire room in like 1962 or whatever.
The amount of convenience it adds to your life is insane.
You could probably
this guy's like,
launch a rocket from this thing.
You could do anything you want from that thing. And this guy's like fucking jerking off saying it's fucking bad shit. I think he's crazy. And I feel like it doesn't make any sense. But maybe it does make sense.
Well, at the end of the day, he's not really against cell phones because he does end up, and you called this early on, that he's going to end up using Cookie's cell phones to win the Mustang. Which he does.
Yeah, although I didn't remember them breaking into his room and like using the phones anyway. Well, I thought he was gonna use that jacket.
They put up a fighting chance, and they really they do win it, but they get DQ'd.
Yeah, they get DQ'd. It's actually kind of bullshit. So they storm into Sweeney's classroom as he's like grading papers or something.
So the classroom,
and they start doing this like routine, this like fucking.
Well, Ned takes Sweeney's
Three
keys.
Stooges routine.
He takes his car keys, puts them in fucking Cookie's mouth. Disgusting. I imagine how dirty those keys are.
Oh, insane! And there's that like bite chomp sound effect they added in.
I thought he was gonna eat them. I thought he was gonna they were gonna slide down his throat.
Too. He gulps them. They CGI his neck getting really wide.
They have to take him. They have to open his belly up and.
Can you imagine them CGIing his mouth opening like a fucking snake and he eats it?
But yeah, it's like a classroom classic where there's a door over here and there's a door over here. So there's two doors. So they come in this
multiple
side.
Entrances.
And then they fuck with him, and Moze goes, Mr. Sweet,
yeah, she fucks with him.
And then they
Is this still a design that they use for classrooms?
I assume it's got to be a classic two-door design.
You don't think they have one way in, one way out in order to, like, for emergencies, they kind of, like, only want one entrance point?
Isn't that more dangerous to have only one?
I'm thinking, like, active shooter-wise, you wouldn't want multiple entry points. Maybe you would to exit from.
Do they both just go out to different hallways?
They went out to that was like a corner classroom.
It must have been a corner classroom.
It was like it was intersecting hallways.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but I don't know. You just lock the doors. But
for fires, I guess you're right. If it's a fire, you'd
for
want
anything where you don't want where it's not the person entering that you're concerned with, but you're concerned with getting the people out as fast as possible.
That's true.
Which is most of the time.
Well,
luckily, but anyway. What the hell were we talking about?
We were talking
the two doors.
Okay, so they lock themselves in the classroom.
They fuck with him, and then they run out the one door. He follows them like an idiot, and then they go in the one door.
Style,
and then they lock that door. They lock the other door. He's trapped outside. They're inside with the cell phones. Contest happens. Ring, ring, ring. They find out which phone it is. In not the best way, but it's because the phones are all ringing. They're just like, which one is it? Not saying anything. They could be screaming, it's there, just wait, what? We got to find the phone. But they didn't say anything until they found the one. And then they get up, and then the guy, Gordy, very quickly, you got to be 18. And then hangs up on him right
away. And he's like, whoa, sorry there, Cookie from
JKPMS middle school or whatever.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but you've been DQ'd. And then he hangs up, and it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
They're going to call up, they're going to do another round of drawing in a minute, but that's where Cookie...
you know what he should have done to get back at that radio host? He should have kept calling anyway. He wins again. Just say it's someone else. Register it under your dad's name. You could have won your dad a free car.
Yeah, I mean... Because at first the guy on the radio, Gordy's like, are you a teacher there? And he's like, yo, I'm a student. And that's where that goes. I don't know. Yeah, it's a shame. But that's how Sweeney ends up winning the contest after all. So I guess Sweeney's car was kind of shitty and beat up and old, I think.
Oh yeah, because in the car wash episode they absolutely demolished it. Remember?
His is the one that they destroyed.
Yeah, the fucking music they're beating the shit out of.
Yeah. What? How's he been getting
when
around?
They use that music.
How the hell's he been getting around?
I don't know. Walking, I guess. Or no, wait. Was he? No, that was Professor Xavier. I was trying to think if he was in the bus episode. He wasn't.
I don't know.
Professor Xavier was using the skates.
But after that is when Moze donates her last 3 minutes of cell phone time to Ned.
Yeah, because Corley was on the phone with her for 197 minutes uninterrupted without speaking. Well, he was speaking. She wasn't.
She just didn't. Did she even know that he was on there?
She didn't.
He was just going off on her phone?
He is a fucking crazy bastard,
sucks.
all right? I'd be fucking pissed. It's such a short amount of time.
200
like in the grand scheme of a month, but
it's got to be the least amount of minutes you could have bought. That's like the smallest.
An uninterrupted call is a long time, 197 minutes, because that would be a long ass movie.
Oh no, no one would ever do that unless you're really like going through something like intense.
Yeah,
that's an
or
intense
if it's like
call.
for like a record, like a Guinness World Record or some shit.
Or you're just bullshitting.
You think you're just bullshitting for 197 minutes?
Yeah, you're talking with your buddy. You're both plastered.
So Moze eventually, she is sitting in like a study hall, I assume, and she can't silence her ringer, so she throws it out the hallway, and it hits Feynman.
Yeah.
Fucking knocks him out, and he goes, "Oh,
ow!"
It's such a shitty ow. It's like the worst acting, dude.
He gets laid out.
It's like he was trying to find a way to do an accent with ow, and it was so bad.
Ow!
He's just lying there like dead on the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like, if he just didn't want to talk, he could have just hung up. But like, she did hang up on him earlier, so that's clearly not the case, Feynman.
Yeah. That's when Ned is kind of talking to Suzie on, is it Moze's phone or his own phone? He's talking to her on some phone, but I think it's his phone at this point because the connection's breaking up. He's like,
that was still on Ned's phone.
I'm breaking up. And that's all. That's all Suzie hears.
Yeah, that's all she hears, dude.
And
she's constantly at her locker slamming it. She's always slamming her locker. I wonder what the people around her think. Like, who's this crazy bitch?
She's like, what? She loses her shit, but that's fine.
She
that's
can't
normal.
Stand it.
And then
you'd think that she would know, like
2 minutes later, she's fine.
What was happening? Well,
2 minutes later, she's just completely back to just stone face, normal. And then, but throughout this episode, she gets with and without Ned, like, 2 times at least, right?
At least 2 times. It happens a couple of times because then she breaks up with him again at the end when Moze gives him her old phone that only had a couple minutes left to be able to talk to Suzie.
Because her battery dies.
He tries to explain it, and then she's like, but don't ever hang up on me again. And then the phone dies because she didn't charge it. And then she's like, okay, we're through. And then,
okay, is that the only
okay,
tip?
We're through. She says it really weird.
Yeah, she did. Is that the only tip of the episode? Is charge your phone every night?
No, the other one was don't talk while you're distracted or walking down the stairs or doing something. Don't talk on the phone while you're doing those.
Because Moze.
Remember, she falls down the stairs and kills him.
Well, Moze, she completely tumbles down the stairs and nails Ned and T-bones him.
Yeah, those are the only tips I had, though.
That sounds about right.
That's pretty much the episode, though. Sweeney wins the convertible.
Yeah, he lets the crew off the hook because he gets to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he gives them their phones back after that, and he drives off in his Mustang.
He parked it in the middle of the courtyard, like where all the benches are.
He just takes all their phones.
In the parking lot at all.
He takes all their phones and pawns them.
He should have put on the fucking cell phone jacket when he pulled away and had put some shades on. That would have been sick.
Yeah, that would have been good. That would have been a nice touch.
But yeah, that was the episode. What are you thinking about that rating?
Let me see. I I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. I might go like, I'm really teetering. I'm gonna go 7.75.
Right on. Yeah, I
Even
think
though
it
there
was
was no,
pretty solid.
even though there was no Gordy, even though there was no Krubs,
Yes.
no Coconut Head, but
No, Coco's been gone.
I thought it was enjoyable.
No
I don't
Seth
know.
either. No Seth either.
Maybe I'm going
yeah,
heavy.
I agree. I think it was an enjoyable episode. I think I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay, that's fair. I was close to
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was solid. And then the next episode is Woodshop,
Woodshop.
which I feel like is a very season 1 episode. I'm surprised.
It's incredible.
This is in there.
It is a throwback episode, I would say, because Chopsaw
It's
takes
so
center
strange.
stage again, and we haven't seen Chopsaw for eons.
Yeah, and they like are constantly like not caring about like the woodworking aspect of Moze's personality. I feel like they were like wait, wasn't she like? They're like, why are we always putting her in front of the wooden locker? Oh right, she's like a woodshop person.
They really put that on the back burner in favor of her sport competitive thing.
Yeah, the volleyball I feel like is definitely a through line that they always peel at.
Yes,
but,
like throughout season 2 and most of season 3, it was sport Moze and not woodshop Moze. And Mr. Chopsaw has been only in like a few episodes throughout really all of season 2.
he was in
and
like the
season 3.
haircut episode. He was in that one.
That was a
He
big one.
Using the spray paint. He was using the fucking spray.
Yeah. But the episode begins. Suzie and Ned are not over.
No, they're back on and they're fine. Even though she was like, "You gotta hang up with me again," and then
Well, now Ned is having to send her bizarre crafted gifts that he's building and making and mailing to her.
Okay, we're through. Yeah.
Goodbye, Mr. Bigby.
Mr. B. Dude, I wish that fucking Dr. Evil made a cameo in the show. That'd be hilarious. Aren't they making a new Austin Powers movie?
Damn, that'd be weird.
I feel like I heard that
That'd
somewhere.
be weird
that
as
would
hell.
Be awesome.
10
No,
years later?
Dude, that would
20
that
years
would be
later,
the
rather?
sickest thing.
20 goddamn years later?
That would be the sickest thing. I would watch it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got to do something. I mean, when's the last...
How everyone would watch it. Are you kidding me?
The last movie he was in was like the Queen movie, and he was only in like one scene for 5 minutes.
They just had a Super Bowl commercial with Dr. Evil. And it,
Oh, shit. Okay.
I forget what the fuck it was advertising, but he was in it, and so was Seth Green. And the lady, the
wild.
wife. Although it was a different number 2. They couldn't get the guy that played number 2.
Oh, they didn't get Robert Wagner? He might have passed away.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. Anyway, though, the episode begins in art class, of all things. It doesn't begin in woodshop. It begins in art class. They're sculpting clay.
Ned bombs the art class accidentally.
Yeah, he puts some plastic explosives inside of the...
He put some C4 in there. No, so he's trying to make like a clay bunny, I think it is, or something like that for Suzie.
Something stupid.
And he puts it in the kiln, and immediately when he puts it in the kiln, Cook's like, "You took all the air out of the clay, right?" And then fucking it explodes, you know.
That's like, what?
That was good.
But yeah, and then...
Because I remember in art class, you were supposed to like poke holes in it or something like that, right?
Well, you got to work it. That's why you got to work it and fold it and shit, right? Or I don't know.
I think you poked
We would have
holes.
to ask
You did
Callan
some
about
cross-hatching
that. She
and
worked at the
shit?
Arts and Crafts Center at UF.
She did. That she did.
She was one of the main people there, one of the major players. But
One of the major players.
anyway, everybody's covered in soot like a cartoon character after a bomb goes off, and then Krubs is. I think is Krubs the one that.
Yeah, it's Krubs because he's wearing the siren helmet.
Yeah.
Do. You know, he's sucking. He's there. He's pissed.
Yeah, so
the
he's
only
like,
Krubs of the episode, by the way.
So we got to rebuild the art class. You guys got to choose new electives. And so they end up in
Yeah, but he says electives with quotes. Electives. Like, what?
I guess maybe there was.
I guess because you have to take one.
Maybe there was only
So
spots
is
in
it
woodshop.
really elective?
Woodshop
Oh,
was the
maybe,
only
yeah.
open one, so they just all had to go from art class right to woodshop. I don't know.
You'd think. I mean, would Chopsaw be able to support this influx of people? Does he have the budget? All that wood, all that lumber.
Well, first of all, he's a veteran.
Sorry, you're right.
So I think
I don't know what that really has to do with anything.
He can handle anything. He can handle a couple kids. This is his element. I
mean more budget and wise and like size of classroom wise.
You're gonna have lines at the saws. There might be 10 kids deep at the saw. You just gotta one after the other. You just gotta do it. Be patient.
Yeah, and you tell them, you say one after the other. You say
one at a time on the circular saw now, please.
on the circular saw. He's all of a sudden he's from Charleston. What the fuck?
Ned offers a couple of tips, including wear goggles. Good advice.
Good tip all around.
Do not rush.
You should always wear goggles.
Don't rush, he says.
Yeah,
take your time.
That's a fact.
Be safe, which is kind of
that's a tip. Be safe.
That was one of them.
That's a shit tip, Ned.
And then he says, don't wear loose clothes, and that's when Chopsaw exposes himself.
Yeah, and then they put over like the sensor bar over his nips, like did you ever watch like Comedy Central late at night when you were like a kid? Because they would air commercials for like the Girls Gone Wild videotapes to like call in and buy.
It'd be like
and it would always be like
scandalous.
Sensor bars.
Hot.
Yeah, it was it's so fucking dumb, but that's what it reminded me of. It's got the
ridiculous music playing.
That's the thing.
Girls Gone Wild.
Do they still make those?
I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't know. That'd be. I mean,
I can't imagine.
They just make porn now.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, we see Chopsaw's nips. We didn't need to see him, but they were there.
Yeah, he had his overalls on.
We do see that he has a cabinet full of just the same flannel, and the closet rack bar is just a stick all the way across. It's like not a nice piece of wood, it's just a fucking stick. It's pretty good.
You gotta appreciate natural beauty.
That's good set design, honestly.
Yeah. Christine, the bad saw.
Yes.
There's a saw that's in a cage, and Cookie is like, what's up with that one over there? And Chopsaw is like, that's Christine. She's a bad saw.
She's a bad saw. Even though, like, looks like a pretty nice saw. And at the same time, like, what we find out later on, I'm just going to say, spoilerino, but we find out that it's just a cordless saw that has, like, a shortened battery, so it constantly is starting up randomly.
Yeah. He
should have returned it immediately. Why'd you buy a cage and put it in the cage?
Well, my question is, if it just turns on and that's the only, like, I mean, I guess it's, like, it's rotating. It's like a wheel, so it's going to go. But it really takes off when it goes, and it seems like it has a mind of its own.
Yeah. I mean, it tries to kill Cook. Like, we get just an amazing POV chase shot, like a horror movie, like fucking Halloween or something.
Yeah, where the camera's on the floor.
Cook running. Yeah, it's fucking going. Yeah, that's actually kind of like an Evil Dead shot, honestly. Yeah, going across the ground like that.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking running, and he falls down to the ground. You see his face go down low and screaming. It's so good.
Yeah, but he gets away from it.
Amazing shot.
And then he and Mr. Lowe actually end up fighting the saw.
Mr. Lowe. He's one of the guys that had a PhD, didn't he? From like fucking Harvard or something?
Mr. Lowe has a double bachelor from Harvard and a PhD from Yale.
Wasn't he one of those guys? I think he was.
Yeah, he was going to be running for the principalship.
Yeah, but he was too much of like a
he was a bitch.
Too much of a puss to do it.
Yeah, he didn't have the authority that Mr. Wright has.
But yeah, the whole reason that the saw is on the loose, by the way, is because Cook took it out of the cage because he's like, she doesn't look like a bad saw. She looks like a nice saw. It's just lonely.
Yeah, he thought it was like a little pup or something.
Wrong.
It's like, that's in a cage for a reason, son. How long has it been in the damn cage, by the way? We don't learn this.
Weeks, months.
Because, like you were hinting at earlier, Mr. Chopsaw, he's like, I was going to return that son bitch for a refund. And, but like, why were you, what were you just fucking jerking off? Why were you taking the time doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. And also, like, I feel like with cordless stuff like that, there's usually a battery that you can detach from it so you can charge it. So, like, why wouldn't you just take the battery out?
Replace the battery?
Maybe it wasn't the case in this one. Maybe you couldn't, take out the battery. It was like an Apple fucking saw where you can't take the battery out of it.
I just don't know. Did you talk about Gordy telling Ned to get flowers for Moze? Because Ned finds Ned. We didn't talk about Ned and Moze.
No, we didn't.
All right, so you want to get into
Yeah.
that,
So Moze is in the woodshop class with them, and at the very beginning, Chopsaw comes over to Ned and is like, "You two would make a pretty good couple." Ned's like, "What are you talking about?" This is a weird conversation, by the way.
And that
like,
was
what the fuck is Chopsaw coming?
yeah.
Like, you're a teacher. What?
And it was
like, who does this guy
completely
think he is?
detached as well from because we learn out what the whole thing is a misunderstanding. The entire episode is what it was. It's a misdirection.
Chopsaw's fault, though.
Well,
and Gordy's.
Well, Chopsaw in this moment to Ned is truly like saying that he thinks that Moze and Ned. So this is just an off comment
why?
from the mind of
why?
Chopsaw. Exactly. This is the.
I think it's very inappropriate. I think it's an inappropriate comment.
Yeah. It's weird.
He's got no grounds for this.
He's probably got bodies under his house.
Something.
He's made of wood. You can't trust a man made of wood.
No, you can't. But you did say he's a war veteran, so we have to respect him.
That's true. I mean, well, he we can only assume he might have been a merc.
Wasn't he dishonorably discharged?
He might have been a mercenary.
A mercenary. That was a fucking sick video game back in the day, dude. Shout out Mercenaries.
Yeah, Mercenaries 2.
Do you remember playing that? Did you play that at my house?
Only with you, yeah.
It's like GTA, but it was rated teen, so my mom would let me buy it.
You could jump out of the helicopter.
You could do any... Yeah, if you could jump out at the highest up you could possibly go, you could jump out of the helicopter, land without a parachute, and you wouldn't die. You'd be on 1 health. It was so crazy. It was such a weird video game.
But
really
yeah,
fun,
Mr. Lowe gets his hands on the saw, and he's like, "It's a poorly designed, overpriced piece of metal crap
and plastic and shit, and I hate it." He's like talking shit about it. He's like,
yeah, he gets weirdly angry, and
Christine does it, and they're just a close up of his disgusting teeth.
His
they're
vitriolic
like, you can see
teeth.
His gums have receded like crazy. You can see like the roots
they're
of
bleeding.
them. Oh, he's got fucking scurvy. He's got scurvy for sure.
It's like when they used to do close-ups in Ren and Stimpy. There's like a hole in the tooth and shit.
Yeah, and like maggots flying through their teeth and shit.
Yeah.
And he's holding it, and then all of a sudden it turns on. He's like, "Wow!"
Yeah, I guess he's like, because his arm is made of noodle, so he can't.
Weak. It's a weak arm, dude.
I guess it just flies out of his hand, and they just run away.
He lets it go. He gets rid of it.
Yeah.
But you were saying it would have been good if it would have just slit his throat like.
It makes him cut his own head off or slit his own throat.
Like the scene in fucking.
Yeah, and then he's just standing there with a prosthetic slit throat, bleeding all over Cookie.
So good. I really wish they would have done that. We should honestly make that cut. We should try to figure out.
Yeah, we get Daniel Curtis Lee back on the horn. He's in it.
It slits his throat.
He's dressed up like Cookie. However old he is now, like 30-something years old or whatever.
He's like 30. But yeah, so they're running away from it. I don't 100% remember what happens at the end of that when they're running.
Yeah.
Oh, they smash it.
Yeah, they smash it.
So Cookie is holding the rocking chair that Moze made. We don't know why she made it yet, but she made a sweet rocking chair. And Chopsaw's got the sledgehammer now. And eventually they're screaming at it.
No, not Chopsaw, Mr. Lowe.
Right? Sorry, Mr. Lowe. Yeah, Mr. Lowe. They're screaming at this saw.
Die!
And then he starts smashing it. He's die! He smashes it with the sledgehammer. And then Chopsaw comes in and is like, what the fuck?
It was an intense scene.
Yeah, it was a great
There was
scene,
like,
honestly.
the camera was moving around a lot and stuff.
Yeah, and the saw's just jumping at the chair.
Yeah.
It was really good. Special effects were solid, honestly.
There's a scene where Chopsaw is talking to Moze, or no, you think he was talking to Ned, and he's like, "The chair is not a it's a he."
No, he's talking to Moze.
It was Moze.
And Ned is.
This is what sets up. This is what ultimately sets up Ned's misconfusion. Is because because Suzie ends. It's because Moze ends up talking about him I like him. Like, she's saying stuff about him. He thinks she's talking about him because he's so vain. And then she's really talking about this chair. But the chair is a him because Chopsaw is like, look at the cock and balls. That's a him.
Yeah, you put it on there, Moze. That's on you.
You nailed him. Yeah. Why'd you nail male genitalia on the chair and then misgender it?
He's like, I didn't tell you to do that.
Yeah. But yeah.
So the whole reason she's making this chair, we find out at the end, is because she is trying to enter some sort of woodworking competition. Did she say she's going to go to Washington D.C.? Is that where she's going at the end of this? Where's she going?
God only knows. I don't know. I didn't take particularly note of what the
they say. I don't remember the city they say.
Maybe
she's going somewhere.
Maybe she's going to go to Sacramento.
Not Sacramento again. Not again. No, not again. It can't be. No one cares about Sacramento. Damn. Yeah, so this guy is there. This fucking hoity-toity
Mr.
motherfucker
Baumgartner.
He looks like Lloyd Kaufman, like at least dresses the way that he dresses. He doesn't look like him when he dresses similar.
Okay. Just in a suit?
The suit with the bow tie.
Yeah. I mean, he's a portly man, this Baumgartner,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Baumgartner. Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
But he's talking about the arms are the perfect shape. And then he says that the chair's great, and then he tries to sit in it, and it absolutely collapses.
Yeah. We've seen before bottom shots of the chair all score. It's completely scored, like as if you were to make a dummy
it's
chair.
Scored, but I don't believe it would have collapsed.
He was big.
He was large.
Think about his fat ass hitting that chair.
He did really give into it, He really fucking hammered into it.
You gotta let yourself into it.
Like he really was letting some weight down.
He was given no mercy. He gave no quarter.
I will give no quarter.
On the chair. And the chair was like, I'm out. He tapped out.
Yeah. It collapsed immediately, which is
the
pretty
chair,
funny.
Whatever his name, we didn't learn the chair's name. The chair might have been named
In
Lloyd.
real life?
Yeah.
You ever seen it?
Probably.
Who have you seen break a chair in real life? You've seen this?
Oh man. I don't know. Maybe not.
I've never broken a chair in real life, but it's always a constant fear in the back of your mind, You never know when a chair is going to give out.
Well, I know your parents, maybe still, but they used to have a lot of antique chairs.
Oh, right. Actually, no, we did. Didn't we break my computer chair multiple times?
I think we broke your chairs a lot.
We broke my computer chair that used to be in my bedroom when I was living with my parents still in high school. We broke that computer chair 4 times. And I kept putting it back together.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Man, we were really rough with that chair. I got that chair for free. I think my mom got it from someone.
I don't know.
It was a good hand-me-down. Fuck. We were rough with chairs.
What are you going to do? But Ned ends up coming on to Moze because he's he thinks that he looks at the camera. He's like, does Moze like me? Yeah, maybe. I mean, no. Yes, but no. Yes in a real way.
She does the thing again in this episode like she did in, I think it was the previous one, where she's smiling a lot and clearly acting different in these scenes, these scenes she's definitely acting more flirty and into him.
She throws
and that's on
she
purpose,
drapes
obviously.
herself over him. She freaking completely
all over him.
Yeah, she's gets
she kisses his neck.
I mean, she's breathing all on his neck and on his ear and shit. And he doesn't know what to handle that because he gets flustered after that. He really is
he does.
You said he's bricked up. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, Gordy's no help.
And he also and he thinks she's into him at the same time. Yeah. That's the precursor to this setup moment where she weirdly and why does she do that though? Why does she put himself
drape herself over him?
Yeah. Has she ever done that before?
No. There's no explanation for it. Yeah. There's no explanation. I'm not 100% sure. But
and also before he gets where he's full on all right, I guess I'm pursuing Moze now. That's where he is mentally. He's all right, I'm trying to get Moze to like me.
Yeah, it really does. It takes nothing, really.
And I'm trying to show her that I also but does he ever at any point actually end it with Suzie, or does the end of the episode he's still with Suzie, right?
He is.
So Suzie
this
just
has happened 2 episodes in a row now.
Unbeknownst to her, he's trying to fucking get some ass on the side.
Well, this happened last time. Remember, like
and we can only assume Susie's doing the
previous
same.
episode where he kept seeing her in the sexy light.
Yes,
and
you're
he
right.
was like,
it's exactly.
And he was like, I'm gonna try to pursue this, and she,
And then Suzie keeps fucking pulling him back in just when he thinks she's out.
Yeah, I don't 100% know. It's just like it's just the constant, will they, won't they type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's pretty much this episode. I mean,
but we don't see any more Suzie after the end of the after we see her the last time or whatever. Like,
no, the last thing we see is
we don't even
Moze
see any Suzie this whole
after...
episode. Susie's only in the last half.
We don't. Yeah.
There's no Suzie. In
the last thing we see is Moze chasing after Ned down the hallway. Because he gives her the flowers and he plays it off like the reason that he gave her the flowers is because he was the one that fucked up the chair, even though it was Cook.
Yeah, he does take the fall on that, which is noble but bullshit.
Yeah. Well, he has to. It's the only way out of that scenario. Why else would he give her flowers?
He could show his ass and be like, "I think you're hot."
He takes the flowers, shoves them up his ass, and farts.
He eats the flowers.
That'd be good. Didn't Billy do that one time?
He's eating the flowers. I think he's eaten flowers on multiple occasions.
He loves them.
Yeah. They're tasty.
Yeah, so that's that episode. I think that I was going to give it a lower score, but I think I'm honestly going to give it the same 7.5 just because the POV shots were so good. I just have to bump it up for that. It was just... all the Saw stuff was it was unexpectedly super good. I just love that they had basically a monster horror movie in the middle of this episode out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, that was a cool thing. I'll go 7.5 out of 10 weasels on this half. So just 0.25 less than the last half. I do think the other half was a little bit just had more momentum behind it, had more sense behind it. Some of the questions, I think this episode left a lot of questions that you want answers to that you don't get.
No, I honestly think the first half's probably better.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just ended up rating them the same. But yeah, they were both solid. I enjoyed them. I thought they were both pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's these episodes. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at @harbor_boys, on YouTube, youtube.com/c/theharborboys for more updates. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and shit.
Yeah, check it
out. Yeah.
Keep staying, Ned. Check out Show Me Something if you haven't listened to that. Like Jake said, and as you guys are aware and know, we're running out of episodes of Ned's. I don't know what we're going to do after this. We got to do something, though, but presumably.
Who knows?
It's fun because it's fun to talk and, it's fun to laugh and on record.
It'll probably be something dumb, probably. It'll probably be something along the same lines. It'll probably be something along the same lines. Early 2000s childhood nostalgia.
We could do Rocco's Modern Life.
I would even be down with just doing just random stuff constantly, doing TV movies and then also random shows and episodes and stuff. I don't know, we'll see, but we'll feel it out and do whatever. But we'll catch you guys for the next.
We could do a cooking show.
We could with Cook.
Stay nasty.